This is what the opening night looked like. We have a bit of a crowd, but not as much as we expected at this point. It's about 7:45 at this time. Here we have the poster announcing the show.
Sure.
Doyle,
Some key points.
we'll get back to showing some of the individual paintings later. Here we have took some photos and put them right on the internet. I mean, on the computer. Anyway, this is the one wall. We have some posters talking about Joe, showing the beautiful little piece here and a little description of that. Some other things. I'll bring these to the house. Again, we will cover the other paintings later. Here's how I have my display set up. Go down this individually in a minute. This thing we have the sketch at the bottom. On the inside, we have these paintings. And on the end, there's this
This is sweet. Oh, yeah.
We have people arriving constantly here, despite the weather.
Yeah, I know. Had some friends who were going to look at Maureen. She was there for a while. No. I know. But I thought about
They always are, but I got too much stuff in my drawer. So.
well, my husband says I have half the
And we did one show here. And I helped most of
Some people sometimes they're
your new
This is actually the barn scene around the corner. It's a nice drawing these guys. He's made much nicer drawings than what we're requiring.
Oh, yeah. I'm part of the other thing now. We get sucked in. I'm going back to school to study technique.
Great.
This is kind of energizing because I've been teaching other children.
Oh, yeah.
I was counting it, wasn't I?
If we're not counting it 15 times, or so out or so, yeah, that's really between Stonedale
Which one?
Looks like it's a color. It's
I just feel like he is. Like I said earlier,
Wait, that's what it is.
That's in the show, and Jean, my wife, will read off the title and the artist.
Which one is Half Moon Rising by Linda Olszewski?
In this series,
Oil by Libby Harbor.
Kutztown, and
Rose Garden by Robin Tisch.
you were right.
By Galen Garapola.
Yeah, you know, I wanted to. My brother did quality. I mean, I can't imagine we would give up one of a kind pieces for $250 or $500 or some of the prices my brother's mentioning here.
It's not the same, it's just the punch.
I'm gonna have to talk with him.
This is Untitled Acrylic by William Alexander. This is an oil entitled Rhythm. It's by Gloria Caros.
Jessica,
Virginia
Two pieces are by Julia Lobel. The one on the right is Steps to Fantasies, and the one on the left is
I was hoping you were
City Shapes. This is Libby Harbor's oil entitled Anger.
I'm sorry, I talked here. Some corners. I can understand.
This piece is entitled Cat and Dog by Jonathan Franklin, and it is an oil. This is an acrylic painting untitled by William Alexander.
See, that's still recording that same one, so I'm doing it longer than it seems. But wait, on that radio.
Interlace. This is by Lori Franzak, called Interlace of Color. Mixed media. It's called Tris by Gloria Caros in oil. This is called The Song of the Bearded Mussel by Carol Bergstrasser. This is called Twists of Fate by Maureen McKee. Oh, where's the card? I always saw it before. An untitled piece by Julia Lobo. And the title is Golden Goddess. Oh, that name again. Maids of Honor by Galen Garapala, mixed medium. That side down. It always, Megatapolis by Lloyd Bradbury, acrylic. And that has to be Marcia's. Birthday Barak by Marcia Palazzola. This is by Marguerite Murphy, monotype. By Rachel Burgess. Annette B. Schabowski. It's an untitled piece, mixed medium. Catherine Coots, and she entitled it Burp. By Catherine Coots. An award winner, Pickup Sticks by Lori Franzak. This is a watercolor by George Ware, and it's entitled Tenements. This is called Sometimes I Dream of Birds 2 by Sally Wolf, and it's a collage. And another one by Sally Wolf called Sometimes I Dream of Birds 1. By Jackie Dimitros, and it is called Emotional Center. Another one by Galen Garapala, entitled Nature in the Crosshair. Ann Anderson, entitled Flower Garden. Another piece by George. City of Trees by Lloyd Bradbury, an acrylic. Also an award winner. All right. and the title is Secret Garden. It's a watercolor by Hee Young Pang, and it is called Calm After Blizzard.
Just a minute.
This is Fusion Driven Dream by Michael Erzen, mixed media. I like that one. Got them all?
All right, that about wraps up our show. Hope you enjoy this.
Yeah, that would be a lot. Yeah.
On them, and you have some idea about what they may be?
Well, they appear to certainly to be prairie school, but I've never been able to attribute them to anybody in specific. I certainly would hope they would be attributable to Frank Lloyd Wright, but I haven't been able to do that. And I suspect there may be a preponderance of feeling that they may be Niedecken.
Well, for the viewers at home who may not know Prairie School Niedeck or Frank Lloyd Wright, let's take a step back a second. The arts and crafts, which were a reform movement started in England in the mid-19th century, moved people away from the high-style Victorian objects, and they moved to a more simplistic form of design. And a specific group of that's called the Prairie School, which grew up out here in Chicago, Illinois, Wisconsin area. And of course, the most famous Prairie School architect and Prairie School designer is Frank Lloyd Wright. Now, the problem is, of course, that if it's right, it's worth an awful lot of money.
Right.
And if it's almost right, it's worth a lot less.
Right.
So let's take a look at it and see what we can find about it. One of the things that Frank Lloyd Wright was very good at was working, like the economists like to say, out of the box, which was he took something that was essentially square and he started playing with the lines to make it a more interesting object. So that when we look at this from the side, you can see how he's taken the straight line of the back, but he's angled the back pad. And then he has put an angled piece below here. And if we turn it around from the other side, we can see how he took essentially the straight line of the back and then spread it out. So that he's taken something that is essentially a box with a stick on the back. And by just altering some of the lines, he's made it a more interesting piece.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, it's a fabulous piece. Another nice touch is the fact that it has these little brass feet here, which of course made it much more durable. And we don't have any wear on the bottom of the legs, which we often see. Now, the wonderful thing about these chairs is, whether these were 18th, 17th, or 20th century, they have the original surface in every way. The original leather, the original surface on the oak, they're just fabulous in that regard. Now, the hard thing is it right? Well, I don't think we can say today that they're right. They're close. Niedeck, who did a lot of work for Wright, who produced a lot of material that we really admire, that's probably as good a guess as any. But even if they're only Niedeck, they're still worth between $25,000 and $30,000 for a set of four, which is, I think, pretty good investment for $3 to start.
Well, I suppose it's 10,000 times what I paid for them. but you're not willing to rule out they're right, are you?
I think at this point, unless we have some definitive statement by the authorities who've done all the research that they're right, I think we live with that. They're great Prairie School, and 25 to 30,000 is a pretty good number for a great set of chairs.
I have to admit that it's still a reasonable return. I'll say that.
Thanks for coming to the Roadshow, Dan.
Thank you.
We'll see you later.
Thank you very much.
Well, up. You've brought us a very pretty picture here today.
Thank you.
What can you tell me about it before we get started?
It was given to my girlfriend and I as a housewarming present from her father. He purchased it in December, I guess, from a man who purchased it from the widow of a man who bought it in the late 50s here in Milwaukee, actually.
So it's been in Milwaukee since the late 1950s?
Yes.
Do you know anything about the artist of this picture?
I know that he has paintings in some other galleries around the world. He has some in a gallery in Sydney, Australia, and a gallery in London.
It's clearly signed, as you can see right here. It's signed G. Cole. This artist is actually an artist named George Vicott Cole.
Okay.
He was a prolific English landscape painter in the 19th century. His views of these pastoral English scenes, haying in this case, are extremely popular because they are just typical examples of this lovely, beautiful English lifestyle that has been lost forever. He generally signed, as you see there in red. He's also dated the picture. You can see it's dated 1880. What's particularly interesting to me and caught my eye when you brought this in, because I saw the back of the picture before I saw the front of it.
Really?
And I'm going to show you here, is this label, which is the gallery label from the gallery you were speaking of. I don't know if you know the name of this gallery. This is a typical label from a gallery in London called Frost and Reed. Frost and Reed has this label with the distinctive FR on it and the information about their artist. They've been using the same type of label for decades and decades and decades.
Really?
And it's usually a pretty good indication that you're going to see a kind of nice English picture when you see that label, because they're a very good gallery. They handled a lot of Cole's work, and if you had any doubts about the authenticity of this picture, they'd pretty much be dispelled by the fact that it was handled by Frost and Reed at one time. Can I ask how much your girlfriend's father paid for the picture?
About $250.
Okay, and have you ever had the picture appraised since you've owned it?
We haven't. No, we haven't. We did have somebody say that they would, if they were to buy it from us, they would give us $15,000 to $20,000 for it.
How much?
$15,000 to $20,000.
Okay. In fact, I think the appraisal you got was a little bit inflated, but I think you should still be very pleased and he made a very good buy, because in fact at auction, I think today this picture would probably sell for between $4,000 and $6,000.
Excellent.
Not a bad investment, a few $100s, and a very nice housewarming present, I must
Really?
say.
Really?
Okay, good.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
How'd you get them?
My mother's attic. How they got back in her attic, I don't know.
Back with more appraisals in a moment. But first, let's drop in on another great Milwaukee institution with Leila Dunbar.
We're here at the Harley-Davidson Archives with noted biker poet and the head of archives, Martin Jack Rosenblum. We're going to be talking a little hog. Marty, how long have you been here at the archives?
I've been working with the Harley-Davidson Motor Company since the 85th anniversary, full-time since the 90th. As the company historian, I have the best job in the world. We have an international treasure here that is probably the most significant collection of Harley-Davidson motorcycles, documents, photographs, and ephemera in the world. And the nature of the Harley-Davidson Archive collection is that we pride ourselves in having unrestored original vehicles.
Tell me about this piece.
This is a 1939 Cervicar. We made Cervicars from 1932 to 1973. What's unique about this is that it is an unrestored vehicle with original paint and therefore much more desirable.
You know, any good Harley collector would drool over this machine. I'm assuming it's got to be worth in the ballpark of somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000.
I believe that there's a collector who would pay that, yes.
And this is one of how many bikes that you have at the Harley Archives?
We have approximately 250 motorcycles from every model year. Every significant Harley-Davidson model is in the archive. And that's 1903 to 1998.
Are they on view to the public?
They are not. The motorcycle collection, like the rest of the archive, is for internal product development only. Mm-hmm. We also have examples of our bicycles, which were made from 1917 to 1923, those are exceptionally rare.
Well, you know, we all have to wear helmets nowadays, except in a couple of states, but it seems to me that checking out those, that fashion was the statement that needed to be made back in the 20s and 30s.
And this beautiful ladies' riding cap would be from the 30s. Silk, a Harley-Davidson product offered in our parts and accessories catalog.
And I think they advertise them as a classy ladies' riding cap.
That's correct.
And from what I remember, a pretty rare piece because most of them come in black.
Correct.
I think I sold one in an auction for between $400 and $500.
Right. We put out our first motorcycle catalog in 1906. However, our first component parts catalog was 1909, and I have an example of that here.
Wow, the earliest one I've ever seen is 1912, so this one's going to be worth a significant amount of money if someone can find it.
Yes.
Probably somewhere over $5,000, I would think.
Without question.
Listen, Marty, thank you so much for letting us take a little peek into hog heaven.
Thank you.
She's still probably $200 to $300 because she has a great wig, great button, great dress, great body. So
It's nice to know.
okay.
Yeah, thank you very
Sure.
much.
We're back at the Wisconsin Center. We have lots more to see. Here's our next appraisal.
Tom and Wendy, I want to thank you for bringing the music to the party today.
Wow,
what you have here is the Regina Corona automatic disc changer. It is the forerunner to not only the jukebox, but also to our modern day CD changer. It's manufactured by the Regina Music Company in Rahway, New Jersey, about 1901 to 1908. Now, the company records still exist, and you can write to the society and find out the exact shipping destination and the date of manufacture, which you already know. This music box has its original Regina Corona glass front, its original finish. The levers on the backside are for the power crank, which runs the tune sheet. Then the bottom one is what elevates the changer, which is what's so innovative of this. It also is equipped with a piano sounding board, which was a sales tool that the Regina Music Company promoted in their work. Now tell me, how did you get it?
Well, we've had it for probably almost half of its life. My father got it from a lady in the house behind us who he took care of in her elderly years. However, it didn't work when he got it. And then he fixed it to get it to work by bypassing it. And I made it work with coins about 20 years ago.
That's right. And since you mentioned the coin slot, that's what distinguishes this. It's a style 34, which has the coin mechanism. If it doesn't have that, it's a home model version. It has a style 33.
Wow.
Now, this also came out of which was equipped obviously for commercial use in hotels and restaurants, which
it was
where it came from, correct?
It was in a saloon in the early 1900s. And when they went out of business, they took it into their home. And it's been in her home and our home since.
Okay, that's great. Have you ever had it appraised?
No, we never did.
Okay. Well, I think in its original finish with all of these original elements that it has, it's a very nice model. I think on today's market, I think a collector would be very happy to pay you about $15,000 for it.
Uh-huh.
So I thank you very much for bringing it
Very
in
good.
and bringing the music to the party.
Well, thank you.
This vase belongs to your mother?
Yes, it does. She bought it at the auction depot in Waukesha about 25 years ago. And she's had it in her china cabinet ever since.
You said that she wasn't going to buy it when she saw it?
No, she wasn't. The auctioneer actually encouraged her to keep bidding on it until she got it.
And she paid how much for it?
I think $9.
$9. Well, delighted you brought it in. I specialize in ceramics and porcelain and haven't seen too many pieces by this particular maker over the years. But this was made by the Rosenberg company who worked at The Hague in Holland. Their most prized ware is their eggshell porcelain. You asked earlier when we were talking about the thinness of this piece, and it's paper thin. It feels like an eggshell.
Yes, it does.
Okay, and that is it's considered the highest aspect of their production. But on top of that, their finest artists painted these beautiful Art Nouveau designs on the pieces. This one is covered with wild orchids and with this fabulous glowing bird shown on this side here. It's really quite exquisite. The markings also designate where the piece came from. That's the Rosenberg eggshell porcelain mark. Dates this piece to around, they say about 1895 to about 1910, but I date this to about 1900 to about 1905. What also separates this from the majority of them, though, is, as you can imagine, it's fragile. It doesn't take much to damage this, and most of the pieces I've seen have some kind of damage, if not being totally restored. So to find one this beautiful, and
there's nothing really wrong with it.
No, there's nothing wrong with it at all. You took really good care of it. So all that being said, I wouldn't sell this for less than $5,000. It'd be a minimum I put on it, you know. And I've seen these bring a good deal more than that.
She's gonna love that. She's just gonna absolutely love
congratulations,
it.
Jen. Not only did you have the great taste to buy it, but you took really good care of it.
Yeah.
Was it easy or what?
Yeah, it was okay.
You brought us some very interesting gold pieces here. You knew they were gold.
Right.
Okay, you had them tested?
Yes.
Do you have any idea where they came from?
There's one fella I seen at a show that told me he thought they were from Alaska.
Okay.
And that's as far as it goes.
Gold nuggets are found all over the world.
Right.
California, Alaska, Africa, and even Australia, other places, and they're found in nugget form. Most gold is found in granular, very tiny pieces. So when you come across a piece of gold that has some largeness to it, you have a find. And these two pieces are quite large as far as gold nuggets go. I think the California gold nugget was something like 84 pounds, and that was the largest in the world.
Right.
But the Russians are claiming they had a larger one, but they never showed it. And gold is a funny thing. When you melt it, it cuts into a ball and you roll it out and it's no more a nugget.
Right.
So you keep these in a nugget form, you get a great idea how nature formed them. They could make fake gold nuggets by pouring them into a mold and trying to get a shape out of it. But these are more uniquely formed. These are formed by electrolysis. They are actually grown in a liquid base with electrolysis and gold ions going back and forth from each other. And that's why you have all these spikes coming out. And another thing, right over here, you have brown inclusions. That is the other material that was in the solution, and they never put it into an acid bath to burn that out. So the telltale inclusions are in there. So what you have here is 2 ounces of 24 karat gold grown in a chemical bath and to look like a gold nugget. And
well, 2 ounces.
2 ounces in today's market is worth about $700.
Yeah.
Intrinsic value, as far as collectability, about $1,000.
Okay.
So, are you surprised about it not being
surprised and a little disappointed? But
well, this is what happens. And gold nuggets have been faked all the time.
Yeah.
In California,
well,
Alaska,
this
and
is
all over.
similar to growing ruby crystals.
Exactly the same, but it's done with emeralds, rubies, sapphires, and now they're doing opals.
Oh, is that right?
They're doing opals like that too. Very interesting.
Now, what can you tell us about this lovely piece you brought here today?
Well, I found it down by the Milwaukee River. I was down there hunting for old bottles after they opened the dam up and the water level went down. And then there was a little embankment down there, and I'd find marbles down there. And I'd pick them up a couple of weeks later. I'd go down there and I'd find some more marbles. So I thought, where are these marbles coming from? Because they would keep reappearing. And I started digging the embankment, and the ring fell out of my hand.
How incredible. Well, the marbles alone could be interesting.
Yeah.
The ring here is very interesting. The center stone here is what looks to be a sapphire, and it's French cut. But in actuality, it's a synthetic sapphire, which has the same physical, chemical, and optical properties of the natural, but unfortunately, it's man-made.
Okay.
However, the diamonds are real, as is the metal around it. And the metal around it is white gold, done in beautiful piercing work. In the 30s and 40s, natural stones from India were very, very difficult to come by because of the war. So many people started incorporating synthetics into their designs, which is why you oftentimes find natural diamonds with synthetic stones. The workmanship of the piece is wonderful piercing mill grain work, very typical of the period. As you can see, it's made in white gold, not platinum. Platinum's a very difficult metal to work in. They started using platinum around 1890 in the turn of the century, and started doing very open work, engraved and pierced designs. But white gold is much more pliable and easier to work in, so consequently, this piece was made in white gold. But it really is amazing that you found this walking along the river.
Well, I found about 40 rings altogether.
Really?
Most of them were silver, and then I have a synthetic ruby. But this one I wasn't sure about it.
Well, it's beautiful, and you found a nice one. and at auction is worth between $150 and $250.
Okay, thank you.
So I think I'll go down by the river next. And thank you so much for coming to the Antiques Roadshow.
This is a plaster figure that was done during Victorian times, late 19th century.
Why I say it's Scandinavian is because it's beech and it's a Scandinavian design. And beech is a wood that you find in that part of the country. Very nice early rose head nails on it, though.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
We'll be back with more appraisals in a moment. But first, here's Noel Barrett with some toys that were once extremely inexpensive. No, you told me these all cost a penny originally.
Well, they are called penny toys, and yes, I have to say that's one of the biggest misnomers in antique toy collecting, because nowadays they cost a lot more than a penny.
Right.
These were all toys that were made from the turn of the century into the 1920s. They started out as being something that a merchant would sell on the street corners of New York City or the major cities for a penny a piece. And the penny toys are wonderful because they reflect so many aspects of the culture of the time, from steamships to the horse carriages to the omnibuses. And the kids who bought these little gems on the street corner got a lot of pop for their penny. For instance, here, this little clown, you push the lever, he's chasing the bucking bronco. And then here you have two little boys on a Irish mail swinging back and forth. And, oh, this is one of my favorites, because what looks like a little simple building or a garage is actually a Zeppelin hangar, and out comes the Zeppelin.
Oh, look at that. That's great. What is that one worth?
This one, I think, would probably bring at auction well over $2,000.
Wow, that's fantastic.
A lot of pennies.
How about this one? What's that worth?
The horse-drawn cab here has a value of around $300 or 30,000 pennies. But then when you get into some of the rare ones, when you get into an elaborate lithograph car with heavy embossing, with the headlamps and the side lamps, retail value on that is anywhere $1,200 to $1,300.
Wow, that's amazing.
There are some reproductions being made of some of these penny toys. For example, this is a modern version where they have actually had access to some of the original molds and copied this toy. And if you look at them really closely, you can see a qualitative difference in the lithography. That's what you really want to look for. You want to look for a little patina in the surface and not this super high gloss, slightly less defined lithography.
Great. Thanks a lot, Noel.
Thank you, Chris.
Now, here's our next appraisal.
Bert, this is an interesting medal you brought in today. How did you acquire it?
Well, many years ago, my grandmother gave it to me, along with some other Civil War memorabilia. It belonged to her father, my great-grandfather. I've never known what it is. I'd like to know a little bit more about it. And we're interested in history if you can help us.
Well, it's a GAR medal. It's called a Commander's Badge. The Grand Army Republic, just after the Civil War, was a veterans organization similar to how we have Veterans of Foreign Wars or the American Legion today. It was made up solely of Civil War veterans. The GAR was very important because they fought for soldiers' rights with the government in terms of pensions, disability, monetary issues that were very important to the soldiers in their later life. What's interesting on your medal is most of these medals that were given to the veterans were just made of brass, and they had a cloth ribbon making the American flag. But if we look at your medal is actually solid gold from top to bottom.
Is that true?
Absolutely. In fact, down here where you've got the anchor and the crossed cavalry sabers and cannons for the different branches of service, those are made of white gold. And these are diamonds that are actually in each one of the corners. The American flag, rather than being made of cloth, is actually all enameled on a gold background. Now, the reason this man had a medal of such high quality is he was a commander. And these medals made of gold were called commander's jewels, and they were reserved only for the highest people in the organization. If we flip it over and we look at the back of this medal, we find a wonderful inscription presenting it to him in 1915 as past commander. Up here is a very unusual feature I've never seen before. A photograph of him sitting here at the top, wearing his veteran's hat with his post number on it. A little view of his collars down there with his post name and number on them also. have you ever thought of a value on this metal?
No, as a matter of fact, we were mostly interested in the history of it. You told me quite a bit because we thought it was given to him as an award from the services, and obviously it's not.
It's not. It's from the Veterans Organization after the war. Well, to give you a rough idea, today, most of the veterans medals, as he's wearing in the picture, the one we'll notice over here, just the brass one with a cloth ribbon, bring about $75 to $100. But a gold commander's jewel, and this is, by the way, one of the finest ones I've ever seen, would bring on today's market about $4,000.
Well, that's pleasing to know, and I think my son, who is named after him, will be most pleased. And I thank you very much.
We appreciate you bringing it in, Bert. Thank you.
Christine, thank you for coming on the roadshow today.
Thank you.
And for bringing us these wonderful prints. Could you tell me a little bit about them?
Well, I work in a civic building, and they were standing by the trash pile waiting to be thrown out. And I liked them. I was attracted to the quality. And when I saw the label and saw it was the Public Arts, I said to my boss, "You can't throw those out." And he says, "Well, if you want them, take them. Nobody else wanted them."
Well, you're absolutely right that they are the WPA prints, as you can tell by the labels that you see on the bottom of both of the frames. These plaques in brass, which say they're from the WPA. It's very unusual to find prints of this nature in the frames, the original frames.
Okay.
And it's a good thing that they were in the frames because it tipped you off to that. The prints are by a German-born artist who worked in Milwaukee, Gerhard Baker. And he did primarily linoleum cuts and wood cuts, and these are a pair of linoleum cuts.
Okay.
They're unusual, first in the frames that they're in, and because they were done for the WPA, they're also in a very small edition. They normally didn't print much more than 15 impressions
at a time
of these. They're also very interesting because of their semi-industrial nature.
Right.
The views are very stark, and the technique itself lends itself to the depictions here. Do you have any idea how much something like this?
Not at all. That's why I brought them. Right.
But you were just attracted to the scenes.
The linear quality was good, and I knew there was a lot of work involved in it, so
They're actually in very good condition too. It's unusual to find these prints in good condition, and as I said, in the original state that they were issued. I've never seen them in the frames with the plaques on them. Actually, if they came up to auction, they would bring about $2,000 for the pair.
Do I have to tell my boss?
You did very well. No, you don't have to, but you did very well for finding these and salvaging them, more or less.
Yes. Oh, I couldn't bear to see them thrown out. Thank you.
They're wonderful.
You brought a very nice lamp in. What can you tell me about it?
Well, really not very much. It was given to us by an older friend.
Okay.
We're a friend of the family.
Oh, okay. Very nice. Well, as you know, or may have surmised, this is a Tiffany lamp. It's a leaded glass shade and a patinated bronze base that very pretty kind of Art Nouveau, Art Deco look. And the shade here is stamped Tiffany Studios, New York, and it's late 19th, early 20th century. Very nice quality glass, which is typical of Tiffany lamps. We'll turn this off here. The patinated bronze base has a little compartment here, comes out, and that is also stamped Tiffany Studios. Nice lamp, great base, more common shade than many shades. What do you think money-wise?
I have no idea.
Okay. Well, I think conservatively at auction, $8,000 to $12,000, $10,000 to $15,000. So not a bad gift.
Are you serious?
Tiffany lamps are very desirable, and people like the look.
Say that again.
$8,000 to $12,000, $10,000 to $15,000. Nice base, good shade.
I'm in shock.
Okay.
Oh my word. Oh my, I gotta sit down.
I'm so glad that you came by today with these watches, because it gives me a chance to demonstrate that all watches look alike, but all watches aren't quite the same thing. Now, you brought these for a relative of yours?
For my father. He couldn't come, so he sent them to me, and I said I'd bring them.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's one of them is far more interesting than the other, and it's the silver one with the cover on it, which, according to what you told me, was found on a battlefield during the Civil War?
Yeah, it came to someone by picking it up off the battlefield. I don't know who it belonged to.
What's interesting about both of these watches, which are both American, is that this one illustrates the very early period of American watchmaking. And when you start exploring this watch, as I like to do, first of all, you open the front cover of the watch and turn it around like that, and you'll see a name on the dial. And it says E. Howard and Company, Boston. Now, E. Howard was a very interesting individual because he's one of the fathers of American watchmaking. Now, the reason why American watchmaking is so interesting to us today is they were the first people who successfully manufactured precision equipment in very, very large quantities. And someone has once said that if Edward Howard and his colleagues hadn't successfully made watches in Boston around the time of the Civil War, Henry Ford wouldn't have been able to make the Model T in Detroit a generation later. This is one of the earliest Howards that I've ever seen. And Howard is remembered today amongst collectors of watches because he made watches that look like nobody else's watches. So when we begin to look at this a little more closely, we can turn the watch over and look at the back and see the movement. And this arrangement of plates and wheels was never seen before, but it was a way that Howard could make watches so that they could be assembled by machinery and then sold relatively economically to a populace that could never have afforded a watch before. And the Howard, for the time that the company was in business, from about 1858 to 1903, made really the finest watches in the world. A Series 2 Howard, only 1,200 of these watches were made in comparison to maybe tens of millions made by Waltham and the other companies. So the bottom line really is that a watch like this, an ordinary watch, really has sentimental value and nothing else. The Howard, on the other hand, it's worth anywhere, let's say, from $1,500 to $3,000. A very collectible and desirable American watch.
I'm sure my father will be pleased to hear that.
I hope I answered his questions for him, and thank you so much for coming to the Roadshow.
Thank you.
Dave, I saw you bringing this into the table today, and I was very interested in it. What can you tell me about it?
Well, very little, actually. It was in the family for quite a few years. It was given to my dad, which he's not able to really remember a whole lot about it. He's passed it on to me, and I've had it for a couple of years now. I have taken it to a retail store to find out if they had any idea of what the value of it might be or anything like that. And they had no real information, but they said that it was worth about $300. They would purchase it for $300.
They wanted to purchase it from you for $300.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what you have here.
Okay.
This is what is known as a tankard.
A tankard.
It is what we refer to as sterling silver or solid silver. Now, this tankard is very interesting because it's pure by design from the Georgian period in England. And you may have noted there's some marks on the lid here.
Yeah.
And there's some marks here on the side of the tankard. Now, these marks tell me that this tankard was made during the reign of George II in London in 1737. And the gentleman's name who made it is Mr. Robert Brown. The English hallmarking system is very precise. The lid is marked as it should be, as well as the body of the piece. There's a nice scroll handle, and it's a fabulous English tankard from the first half of the 18th century, and certainly worth considerably more than the $300 it dealer offered you. Do you have any idea what it might be worth?
I have no clue. That's why we're here. I'm hoping it's worth more than $300.
Well, I think if you decided ever to sell this and you put it in a well-advertised auction, good estimated value for this tankard is about $4,000 to $6,000.
Is that right? Oh, gosh.
It's a wonderful object, and thank you for bringing it to the roadshow.
Oh, well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Well, that wraps up the Milwaukee edition of Antiques Roadshow. And so, with thanks to our hosts here in Milwaukee, especially the people at the Wisconsin Center, with thanks to our expert appraisers, and to all the thousands of people who brought us such wonderful antiques to look at, I'm Chris Jussel saying so long from all of us on the Antiques Roadshow.
Learn more about Antiques Roadshow, our experts, and pick up some tips of the trade on our website at www.pbs.org.
Good night.